Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about the SharkScope desktop hand tracker. It's a fantastic tool that's going to let you really look at your games, whether it's tournaments or cash games, analyze them, track them, and I'm going to talk you through how you can use this great tool to your advantage. So with that, let's get into the actual desktop here, bring it up for you here so we can see we've got a decent number of hands to look at in tournaments, over 400,000 there in hands and tournaments as a little base starting point. What you want to do is go up to the left hand side here. So here, overview, if you click on this little drop down box, you get two sections that pop up. One is your combined bankroll and one is session overview. Now the combined bankroll, self-explanatory really, isn't it? It combines your winnings for your tournaments and your cash games over whatever time period you want to look at. So if we click on that just now, there's a wee filter in there. I've got mine set at 3 months just now, and the green line you can see there shows tournaments. The blue line there shows total winnings, and the little orange section there shows how we'll be doing on ring games. So you can actually look at that any way you want. So you can go 3 months, you can go that to yesterday, for example. I didn't play anything there, so let's go for 1 week. There you go, a little week there, a little bit up on the cash. Overall with MTTs. So if we scroll down here, you can go year to date. You can go all time. It's really up to you what you want to look at. You can look at various table sizes, whether it's 6 max or 9 max. So obviously if you're playing Zoom, which I play quite a bit of, you can go to 6 max. If you're playing MTTs, go to 9 max. If you're playing 9-man tournaments, game types, you can select which ones, so like Hold'em, PLO. And if you want to go into a little bit more data, you can look at positions, like cut off one, button, how you're doing in that front. And then there's a section here at the end which is really cool. It gives you more, so you can actually look at your poker room, tournament size, staking. It gives you like groups there, so group 1, group 2. You can play around with that. Format at the end there. Now it goes off the edge of the recording screen, but it gives you like what format. So if it's satellite, cash out, rebuy. And on the advanced function at the bottom, you get like things like pre-flop. Now obviously I'm just going to scroll this over so you can see it a bit better. You should be able to see that now a little bit more. So you can look at there, voluntary put in the pot for pre-flop section, loads of options there. Scroll down. It's really down to you to play around with this and just, you know, analyze what data you want to look at there. Other, it goes the true and the false. So for example here, if you wanted to go on the other and say went to showdown, won at showdown, you can do all that sort of analysis, which is pretty cool. Now the good thing about this filter here, you get the reset option, but it follows you throughout this whole section. So as I go through this filter will follow you. So it makes it really easy, rather than have to re-input data again, which can be quite tedious. All the options you've done will follow you through as you tick through all these options here, which I'm going to explain in a minute. So that's a pretty cool function here. At the same time, it's really easy to reset it. As you can see, you get the reset button there. Now, next section down here is called Session Overview, and this is great for, I would say it's great for both MTTs as well as cash, but for me as a big cash fan, then I would class that as a big bonus here. So let's just reset this and show you what happens here. When we reset this, you've got a timer on it, okay? It gives you the hands played, the tournaments played, hands played per hour, and what you've basically won. Now, the great thing about it, think about it here. If you're playing a cash session, one of the biggest mistakes you can do is play for too long. Winning or losing, you can play for too long, and suddenly a winning session can turn into a losing session. So just by using this and having this open in the background, okay, you can keep an eye on how long you've played for. So you think, right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give myself a limit. Once I've played 1,000 hands, I'm quitting, because I know after that point I'm going to get tired and I can make mistakes. So that's a great way of just being a little, it's like a little checker for you in the background to stop you playing for too long. And it's a very handy tool if you use it to your advantage. So if we move on to the next tab here, which is tournaments, you've got one for ring games and tournaments. We'll look at the tournaments first. We've got two key things at the front end here, right at the beginning. It's basic stats and advanced stats. So if we click on basic stats, see how my filters followed me? Year to date, 6 players. So if I change that to say 9 players for the tournaments, makes a lot of sense. There you go, run through that. I've played not many. You can see there 147. Hands played 14,000. And at the bottom there is my winning here. Total winnings $70.43 gives me my voluntary put in the pot, my pre-flop raise, post-flop aggression. Now I can go year to date, I can go all time, 1 year, 1 month. Again, you can play around with that. Table sizings, again, very simple. Game types, you pick, hold them, whatever you want. It's all in there. Positions, again and again, you get the more option, which has got multiple options down there For example, pocket pairs, it lets you look at hand type. If you're down here, you can go satellite, step, double or nothing. There's so many options to pick from, which is pretty cool. If I then move on to the advanced statistics, click on that, it loads up. See how quick that is? Year to date I'm looking at. Again, my filters follow me through, which is pretty cool. This will give me a whole breakdown here. So for example, gives me the number of flops I've seen, percentage wise, and then it is the count for you. Voluntary put in the pot. Now obviously if you're analysing your data and you're looking for leaks or areas where you think you can improve on, this is really cool for this sort of stuff. As you can see here, you got a tab at the top saying today, obviously 0 at the moment, and then that's obviously all the data it's got from your database. So a good one down here, for example, is like steal here, blind stealing attempts, gives me a percentage there, fold, big blind to steal attempt, lots of data there for you to play around with and work with. Now there's loads of options down here, like tournament by date. It gives you all the actual dates here, the tournaments you've played, the hands you've played, shows you how you've done in this front, for example. You then get tournaments by type, recent tournaments, recent hands. Oh, it's amazing what you can get from here. And the great thing about this, for example, if I click on recent hands here, if I look at this one here, if I just double click this, look what happens. Oh, pops a replay. Really cool here. You can resize it, etc. And if we just scroll it back to the beginning of the hand, what did I have here? Oh, I've got nothing in chips here. Let's have a look at this one. 306 chips. I'm all in, so I must have got stuff the previous hands. 306, little stack there, 999, ace 10, just rolling it through. Surely I'm winning this one here if I get an ace in the river. Yeah, there you go. Oh, what? Can you see that, people? Bugger. Lose to Quadrilinos. What was the other guy? King 10. Ooh, sickerments that is, that's for sure. Well, there you go. A bit of fun there for you. Free as part of the video. And here at the top here, you've actually got these sections here. For example, winnings. If I click on that, that orders the actual columns for you. So there's my minuses, there's my positives. Yeah, really cool. And you could do that for any of the columns at the top here. Down card, same principle. There you go, twos, click it up, aces, you can see how you've done and all that, and just run through stuff. So it's a really great way of analysing how you've got on in an event. Did you play it well? Didn't you play it well? All up to you. Now, great one I like here. A lot of people will like this in the MTTs is all in equity. So you can actually just pull this up. See how quick that is year to date. Just to boom, straight away. And that'll give you a graph. For example, there you go. All in equity, big blind. There's the orange, total winning. So I can show you, look, I'm getting it in pretty decent here. I'm just not getting much luck. Okay. And that can just show you here. Tournament finishes. This is a cool one here. Just shows you your percentages of how you've done. Like top 20, 30%. I finished once there. Year to date, 30, 40%. And it just runs through that. So obviously if you're playing a lot of volume, this is going to be quite handy to you. But that's the one I think a lot of tournament players are going to really love. And that'll help you keep an eye on how you're doing and how you're performing. Now, if I'm looking at the ring game stuff, because obviously I've only covered some of the sections here, but there's loads to look at, and obviously I'm conscious of not keeping this video too long. If I click on ring games, very similar options, but a few different sections between tournaments, obviously, and cash games. But one here thing that a lot of ring game players like to do is look at the players that they're coming up against. Now, obviously, I've got my filter here to 9-man, so let's just take that puppy out there and just change that 1 wee second. So if I go to my ring game cache, 6-match, all of a sudden I get all this data popping up because obviously I've been playing a lot of Zoom 6-max games. So all these players pop up here. So what I can do here is say, well, all right, let's have a look at this. Let's just use this here and analyze how I'm getting on against these people. So I've just put some filters in there. Year to date, 6-max, Zoom, we'll just pick 5 and 10. Now you can see here, you can actually move these along, so average winning big blinds here. But hang on, where's my money? So what you do is you go to the left here next to the player. Well, actually, I've just clicked on that. So, and we just scroll down here, and I want to look at dollars won. So I'm going to put that in there as well. And that little tab will show at the end. So all I need to do now, if I want to pull that to the beginning, is just slide it across like that. And look, there you go. There's my big blinds, because a lot of people like to look at big blinds per 100 hands. And there's my money. So let's just click on that. And let's see who I've won the most money from. Okay, 1 wee second. I can do that. Or who I've lost the most money to. So we can go through here. One. So here we go. The Bears 1x. I'm at $69 and 110,000 hands year to date. So we could go and click through that. But if you want to look at somebody that's losing and target them, now obviously we haven't got a huge sample here. But we've got Let's look at the hands here. Sometimes it's a good way of looking at it. So here's somebody here, for example, on stars, 505 hands. He's only lost $21, but we can click on that and just look through all those hands and find out if this person's got a trait that we can capitalize on. So as I flick through this, so if we click this particular individual here, Paul Bulboa, we've got a summary here. We can just scroll through this individual's data. So the information we've got on them, like their aggression factor, how often they're raising pre-flop calling, and the great thing is we can put notes on the person. Look, we can write all the notes from the analysis. Now, like I said, we don't have a big sample, but when you're playing huge volume, this is going to be very useful when you're actually, especially in the cash game front, I believe, and MTT front when you're coming up against regular opponents. You can make detailed notes on the individual and analyze, right, well, next time I play this person, this is what I'm going to do to exploit them. Now this is a really cool function here. See this bit at the top here? It says SharkScope info. If I click on that, look how quick that is. That'll give me all the information on what they're doing, for example, with regards to their account, average profit. Now this is bringing up their tournament data here, okay? So this will show me here that their average profit, as you can see there, the graph's not very attractive. They've played quite a lot. Their average stake's not that high, but you can see this particular person from 2010 to 2015 has not performed particularly well on the tournament front. And you can use this data, especially if you're analyzing tournament statistics, to your advantage in how profitable or unprofitable this person is, and then obviously use that data to your advantage. But as you scroll through it, there's loads of information here, all available to you, which is fantastic. Now, cash game players obviously like to analyze things like where they're losing money from and positions here. So, for example, if we click on here and we're looking at button cut off, so obviously remember my filters are still in place here, so I will want to look at year to date. I'm doing pretty well on the button here. Cut off is pretty cool. Cut off 1 and 2, great. Blinds not so hot, but we always expect that. But that might be a leak, so I might want to look at my big blinds, for example, and how I'm getting on there. I can just do that, double click it, it'll bring up all the data, and I can just run through this and say, right, what's going on here? And all I need to do is look at a few hands here, for example, and think, right, well, where's my winnings, where's my losings here? So here's an ace-king, for example, hand. Double-click this. Here's bear with ace-king. We can scroll through it and see what happens. Here we go. We 3-bet the individual. He 4-bet me. I called him. We get a king on the flop. He bets. I just flat him. Nasty 10 on the turn. Here it goes. What happened? Oh, ace-queen versus ace-10. Bit of a bad hit there. So could I have made a better move on the flop? Do I want to make a better move on that board? Is it just pure unlucky? What happened there with the 10? You know, you can work it out yourself, but it's a great way of analyzing your data and looking, look, have I made some mistakes here? Can I improve on it? It's superb, and there's just so much information here to get your teeth stuck into. It's fantastic. Now, if I just remove those filters and just keep it to year to date, just to keep the numbers down so we can get through this quickly, you can see there, the hand seems pretty constant, okay? But if I go up to my MTTs, watch this, you can see there's actually quite a bit of difference here. How can my big blind be different from my cutoff? Well, that's because they're mixing the data. So, for example, with myself, I play tournaments 9-man, but I also have been playing spin and goes, which is 3-man. So that's why you'll see a big difference between big blind and small blind, for example, as opposed to, say, cutoff 3, because it's mixing the data. So again, just be wary of that, so you can then, when you're filtering down on this information, you know why there's differences there, okay? And then you can obviously break it down and look at what you want to look at. Now, I want to bring you back to something here, which is the more filter. I mentioned this a wee bit earlier on here. Now, obviously, I'm looking at ring games and I'm looking at tournaments. So I'm going to flick between the two here. But basically, if I show you on the ring games, it's much more pronounced because I've got more volume here. So if I look at this more down here, okay, and I go down to the advanced pre-flop, let's just bring this over a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here, people, okay? So more advanced pre-flop. If I want to see how I'm doing, say for example, at the moment it says I'm down $241 year to date in all my ring games that I've played. If I just click that to true, when I'm putting money in the pot, how am I faring? Well, watch this. It's stating I'm about 3.6k up there when I actually put the money in, okay? How I do after that is another thing altogether. If I turn that off to that and look at the raise pre-flop, just watch this. It changes to that. Okay, so it can actually tell me when I'm actually going with the hands, I'm doing pretty well. And then you can look at further down the list here. So 3-bet, true, just change that to true. You can see the figure there, change to 1,000. So it is saying, well, hang on, you're doing something right here, but obviously something's going wrong somewhere else that's costing you money. And that's how you can then drill down and find out, well, how am I doing elsewhere? So where could be a leak? So let's look down here. So let's look at my squeeze bit opportunity. If I change that to true, look, I'm down 350 there. So maybe that's an issue. I'm going to have to relook at my squeeze bit statistics and how I'm doing on that front. And then I can look at how I've done against 4-bets, for example. Am I playing against 4-bets too often? So let's just click on true there. Look at that. There you go, down 400. So in a few clicks, with the aid of this fantastic tool, I've been able to find a leak there on my squeezes and my 4-bets. That if I actually take that out of the equation and start working on them, I can actually save myself a lot of money here and be much more of a profitable player. Now, like I said, there's huge amounts of data here and tools available for you to analyze stuff, but a great one here for anybody, whether it's cash or tournaments, we'll show you this in a second once it loads, is the bankroll. We all like to have a wee look at that bankroll. So there we go. There's the year-to-date bankroll for me on the cash front, and we can also look at it on the tournament front. There you go. It shows you the tournament front there. If I right-click this, look at this, I'll show you this. It shows you can save it as PNG format, which means you can actually send it to your friends, whatever, and say, look how I'm doing, guys. Which is a pretty cool tool, I'm sure you agree. Another little tip here is look at this. You can actually zoom in and zoom out. Now, obviously, I haven't got a huge sample here, but if I right-click, hold it down, and zoom in, I can actually bring it to a certain point, right-click, zoom out, and then we go back again. So if I do that, for example, on my cash, which is probably going to be a little bit more useful here, got more data to play around with. If you look around the 80,000 hands here, I can get into that section and just look at where I've done. So, as I say, right-click, whoops, there. So, like, for example, here, right-click, there you go. I can get into this section here and get into a little bit more detail on it. Right-click, hold down, zoom out, back again. Nice little tip. Now, if I click on Detail Bankroll, you can actually see basically showdowns at winning, total winnings whilst this is churning around here, okay? And then non-showdown winnings, which is not ideal, obviously. You then can also do that for... here we go, if I just go here 1 wee second. And a similar format with your all-in equity on your tournaments, like I showed you earlier on. See, so there's your all-in equity. Boom, 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 boom. And there you go, there's your cash. So it's a really matter of what you're playing at. And if you're playing at both like I do, then you can obviously analyze that data and use that accordingly. Now, if I just show you this, obviously in the tournament front, this is really useful. It shows it in big blinds. Okay, so this is a great spot where you can actually think, right, all right, well, I'm not doing well here on my total winnings, but I seem to be doing okay in the orange chart here, my all-in equity. So what's costing me? Where am I losing my money? And this is where you can drill down on your filters, and I'll just give you a little example of this. By going to the more section here, and let's just say, for example, hand type. I want to see how I'm doing with, say, pocket pairs, okay? So I can then just rattle that in there with pocket pairs. So I'm not performing as well as I should do on my pocket pairs and my tournaments. So if we go to another hand type here, so it's high pairs, mid pairs, small pairs. So let's look at the small pairs. Here's a good one for you. So there you go. Winning a wee bit more than I should do on my small pairs on that front. Oh, okay, it's interesting. Suited connectors, that's a great one where we can all get stuffed on. Well, there you go. There's a real indication of where I'm probably getting stuffed at on the tournaments. I am not winning what I should do, so I'm probably getting big draws, open-ended, or maybe even open-ended suited connected draws there, so maybe 15 alters where I'm pumping my money in and I'm just not getting the rub of the green. So that's a very useful stat there, you know, as I say with this more than, to just look at where it's costing you. So if your chart's the other way around, like you're losing money, you want to find out, hang on, why am I losing so much money and I'm putting it in incorrectly, then that's a great way of finding out. Now, I mentioned tournament finishes earlier on, which is a great way of finding out how you're doing on here, but let me just click this little box here at the top here so I can just show you this 1 wee sec. So if you go from basic stats to advanced stats, look at this, it shows you in the money. Now, if it's quite high, so for me it is quite high, 35%, that's suggesting I'm probably playing quite tight and cashing a lot, but I'm not giving myself a shot at scoring many, because I'm probably playing too tight. So again, that's the sort of information that you can use to think, I need to adjust my game slightly, maybe take a few more risks with certain hand types to get further into tournaments, you know, deeper into them and cash bigger rather than just cashing. Now you can use the same principle here for your cash games. So if you look at your stake level, for example, here in the cash games, let me just show you that. Okay, we can actually see where we're winning money and where we're losing money. Now you can see it's got my suited connectors, so if I actually take that suited connectors out and just do that, there we go, all of a sudden I can see, well, at 10 and 25, I've not done very well. Had a wee shot at the 25-50, done pretty okay there, but here's where it's costing me this year so far. So why is that? I've got 55,000 hands I can look at. I've done pretty well, okay, on the 5 and 10 zoom. So again, it's just a matter of playing around with this for you to basically do the analysis and then adjust your game accordingly. Now, one thing to point out, I mentioned earlier on that I've got lots of little folders dotted around my computer here, okay, where I've got hands saved in different sections. So let me just show you a wee tip here. If you go up to here and click on the Tools section here, drop down options at the very bottom, hit Preferences, and look, there you go, straight into the General tab there. See here, look at all the different folders where I've got all my games saved and databases as such. Now obviously if you jump from one computer to another, you could have stuff saved in different sections. So if you want to add one, it's very easy. Click on that, browse through where all your data has been saved. You can add it in, take it out. Look, you can minus stuff off. Really simple, but a very useful tip to have, especially if you've got quite a lot of data and you've saved it in different folders. And obviously if you've moved PCs, then this is going to be quite a handy tip. Now, I've covered an awful lot of information in this video on this fantastic piece of software. Don't forget though, you can go to the SharkScope main page. I'll do that whilst we're just talking. Here we go. Click on the SharkScope Desktop HUD. Go to the user guide. Up it pops. We'll just scroll down here, and for example, there's a section on the hand replayer. We'll click on that. And there you can see there, up pops the hand replayer and all the information with the screenshot talking you through that, which is cool. And beneath that, as you can see here, you've got screen references. It talks about the tournament by date, advanced statistics, everything we did in the video. It's all there with screenshots and text running it through for you so you can actually read it at your leisure in conjunction with the video. So there you go. A lot of great stuff on this fantastic piece of software, people. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. And on that pleasant note, take care. Bye now.